Shalom, friends. Welcome to Daf Reactions, Bava Kamma 20. Nothing really says the holidays more than family drama, and there's quite a lot of that in the Talmud. Quite a lot of holidays, and quite a lot of family drama. Something I really love about doing this learning is discovering the interpersonal relationships and backstories of the sages. Dynamics that lie under the surface discussions happening on the page. And that is exactly what today's daf is serving. The interaction stars Rav Chisda, who you know, I stan. And he says to one of his students, Rami Bar Kamma, "Oh, you weren't there last night. We were discussing this really interesting question." And Rami Bar Kamma is like, "Oh, what did I miss?" And Rav Chisda says, okay, the question is, if somebody has an empty house they are not in at the moment, and somebody else comes and is squatting there, does the squatter owe rent to the unknowing homeowner? Because would the homeowner actually get some benefit out of this scenario, unplanned though it was? Like their surprise tenant turns on the faucet when there's a freeze preventing the pipes from bursting. It's plausible. It's plausible. Rami Bar Kamma is like, wow, I can't believe you guys are still struggling with this question. This isn't a new convo, it's old news. In fact, there's already an answer to this in the Mishnah. Rav Chisda, who was, again, the teacher, said, oh, could you point out where in the Mishnah? And Rami Bar Kamma says, sure, I'll tell you, if you serve me first. Maybe how about you check yourself? Maybe how about that? Have you thought about that? Consider it. So Rav Chisda, being an excellent sport, took Rami Bar Chutzpah's scarf and folded it for him. He's a good guy. And Rami Bar Kamma is like, okay, here's the Mishnah. If an animal derives benefit from noshing on somebody's produce that was left in a public domain, the owner of the animal does have to pay damages from what the animal benefited from. So it's the same difference. You pay for the benefit you received. At this point, who pops into the Gemara? It's Rava, also a student of Rav Chisda. And he says, wow, that's impressive in how wrong it is. But I guess God's favorites don't have to worry about their wrong opinions being rejected. Because these are actually two completely different cases in the Mishnah. One is about animals in the public domain eating produce and causing the loss of said produce. And the other case is about a squatter living in your house, but there is no loss of anything sustained. It is not the same sitch at all. But Rav Chisda nevertheless accepted it and even folded his scarf because that's the kind of great man that he is. Someone I admire so much, I would love to be related to him at some point. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, this seems like a real nothing burger between a teacher and his two students who might be beefing with each other, but whatever. But there is more to it, you see. Here's the tea. One time, Rav Chisda brought his daughter to work, and he had his students, Rami Bar Kamma and Rava, stand before them. And Rav Chisda asked her which she would like to marry, and she was like, why not both? To which Rava replied, okay, he might be your first husband, but we're endgame. That's right, Rami Bar Kamma and Rava were not only academic rivals, but also romantic ones. Rav Chisda's daughter did in fact marry Rami Bar Kamma, but he did pass away young. And according to Rava, Rami Bar Kamma brought this untimely demise upon himself by being rude to a fellow sage. Oops. And then guess what? Rava married Rav Chisda's daughter. And they had quite the marriage, as has been discussed on this page previously. They were in fact endgame. So just remember, if you're in a situation where you find yourself in a legal discussion with your in-laws at a family dinner, and your father-in-law's other top student is over in the corner simping for your girl, yeah, it's a hot mess for sure. But also, just think of it as participating in a time-honored Talmudic tradition. It won't make it any less weird, but it could make it funnier.